Welcome to The Explainer. So let's talk about something kind of weird. Why do so many people who make a ton of money still feel, well, trapped? Today, we're going to uncover the hidden rules they're missing and figure out how they can finally start winning the money game.
Get this. This quote comes from a guy we'll call Dr. Wesley. He was a super successful corporate executive, had the big title, the fancy MBA, the huge salary, the whole shebang. But his wife? She kept telling him they weren't actually wealthy, and he found that insulting.
So how is that even possible? A high earner who isn't wealthy? Well, that question is exactly what we're digging into. See, earning a big paycheck is one thing. It's like being a star athlete. But building real wealth, that's about knowing the rules of the game. A game most of us are playing without ever reading the manual.
Okay, so let's really dive into this idea. Dr. Wesley frames money as a game. And just like any sport, right? It's got rules, it's got winners and losers, and it's got a scoreboard. If you're out there on the field just running around but you don't know the rules, are you really even playing to win?
But here's the kicker. The rule book for winning this money game, it's not something they teach you in school. It's not common knowledge. Dr. Wesley says these rules are basically secrets, and it's on you to figure them out.
All right, so you want to know the secrets? Let's crack open that playbook. Dr. Wesley lays out 3 absolutely critical secret rules that you've got to understand just to get started.
First up, rule number 1, the rule of secrecy. And yeah, this one is huge. The knowledge that actually creates wealth, it's guarded like a top secret recipe. Think about the formula for Coca-Cola. It's not in your college textbook because what you learn in school and what makes you wealthy are pretty much 2 different languages. Okay, rule number 2 is the rule of the team. And it's simple. You can't build massive wealth all by yourself. It's just not going to happen. This quote from Warren Buffett just nails it, right? If you do not learn how to make money while you sleep, you will work for money until you die. You can earn a great salary on your own, sure, but true wealth, that comes from having a team, a system, something that makes money for you, even when you're not actively working. And that brings us to rule number 3, which might just be the most important one of all, the rule of measurement. You know, it's like in any sport. You got to know the score. You can't get better if you don't measure where you're at. So, what is the score in the money game? It's not your salary. It's not your bonus. It's not your job title. Nope. The only number that really truly matters is your net worth. That's it. That's the scoreboard.
And to show you just how critical this is, get this. One of Dr. Wesley's clients, after working his tail off for 38 years, calculated his net worth for the very first time. And his score? It was less than $250,000. 38 years?
And his reaction, wow. He said he was depressed, but also happy at the same time because, in his words, my eyes are open now. And that's everything, isn't it? The truth can hurt, for sure, but knowing your score, that is the absolute, non-negotiable first step to actually changing it.
Okay, so you know the secret rules and you've checked your score. Now what? How do you actually go from being a high-income earner to a high-wealth individual?
Well, first things first, you got to know where wealth actually comes from. And historically, it's about owning assets in one of 4 main categories. You've got businesses, real estate, commodities, and paper assets like stocks and bonds. You notice what's missing from that list? Yep, your job.
So, Dr. Wesley, through his own journey and from coaching tons of clients, has pinpointed 4 essential transitions you have to make. This is about shifting your entire mindset from an employee to an owner. Transition number 1, and honestly, this is the toughest one for most people, mindset. You have to swallow a hard pill here. The academic smarts that got you that high-paying job are not the same skills that will make you wealthy. It is a completely different game with a completely different playbook. This quote from Robert Kiyosaki really sets up the second big shift perfectly. Your job is a short-term solution to a long-term problem. This leads us to the transition of assets. Right now, as an employee, you are the asset. Your time and skills generate the income. The goal is to flip that, to start owning assets from those 4 classes we just talked about that work for you. Next up, number 3, the transition of quadrants. This idea comes from Kiyosaki's famous cash flow quadrant. It's all about moving from the left side of the quadrant, where you're an employee or self-employed, basically trading your time for money, over to the right side, as a business owner or an investor, where you build systems and have your money make more money for you. And the last piece of the puzzle, transition number 4, structure.
This is huge. Instead of you, the individual, earning money, paying a ton of taxes, and then spending what's left, you create a separate legal entity, like a corporation. This flips the whole equation on its head. Now your business earns the money, pays for its expenses, and is then taxed on what's left over. It's a total game changer.
All right, so let's talk about the end game here. The ultimate prize. Because winning the money game isn't just about getting rich yourself. It's about creating something that lasts, something that outlives you.
But, there's a pretty scary statistic you need to hear. A whopping 85% of inherited wealth is totally gone by the second generation. 85%. Why? Well, it's basically a financial version of entropy. That concept from physics where things naturally fall apart. If the knowledge and the values that built the wealth in the first place aren't passed down, the money just evaporates.
So to beat that entropy, you have to pass on way more than just a bank account. Dr. Wesley calls these the 5 capitals. You've got human capital, which is all about self-worth, spiritual capital, which is your family's core values, intellectual capital, that's the secret knowledge of how wealth is actually built, social capital, which is your network, and then, and only then, do you have the 5th one, financial capital. And this brings us to a really important shift in thinking. It's not about the next generation just waiting around for a handout. The goal is to cultivate a rising generation, a generation that's been equipped with all 5 capitals, ready and empowered to take what you started and build on it.
And that brings us right back to where we started, and to the most important question for anyone who's playing this money game. That man worked for 38 years, and his score was less than 250 grand. So let me ask you, what's your score? And maybe more importantly, now that you know a little more about the rules, are you ready to change it?